final and ultimate conclusion. On a broader global scale, it seems that those influential individuals in power have agreed to sacrifice a percentage of individuals for pharmaceutical research, development, and production of investing civilized countries, apparently for the benefit of the rest of humanity or their own individual societies. However, if this is so, according to my preliminary evidence, then for a period of approximately just 200 years, how many have been murdered in such a way? For example, appropriate clinical practices such as dissection of essential human organs, brain tissue, bone marrow, testicles, or reproductive organs if you prefer, etc., etc., etc. Cadavers are required for constant and continuous research, and thus the cadavers are owned by the state, and if any are returned to their families, they are presented in a presentable form as the usual post-mortem is justified, and families are not able to proceed with similar clinical practices to be able to establish or ascertain if any probable medical negligence occurred. Just think, if I may suggest, if Hitler had to be destroyed due to similar acts against humanity, then how can the Mental Health Act of 1983 be truly justified? Politicians are elected and then forgot. It is only the legacy of those who were murdered by an act of parliament who that shall be remembered. Or is it the other way round? It is greed which infects the consciousness of mankind. You have everything, and yet you desire that which is unattainable. And ultimately, it is your quest for ultimate power which causes issues. It is only greed or necessity which governs certain individuals' decisions. There exists endless rows of numbers of those departed, 4 to 5 cadavers per municipal grave, a dumping ground or ditch where the poor are laid to rest, a sweetheart, a son, an uncle, a daughter, a wife, a mother, a grandma. No names, no flowers or tombstones for remembrance, no last rites, no funerals or wake. No way of knowing where your loved ones lay or how they took their final breath, because ultimately they were all deemed insane and ended up in a grave with no face for a man with no name. Perhaps not in my lifetime, but at some moment or instance in time and space. Those who have the power and appropriate legislative authority will look back to now, our current era, and discuss and debate as to how such barbarism was ever justified, deemed necessary for our existence as this current species. I think and suggest that financial compensation should and has to be compulsory and appropriate prosecution for all of those individuals who committed such unjustified atrocities, accompanied by stern, demoralizing, energy-sapping looks, condescending attitudes, or attributes, depending on which social circle you tend to dwell upon. Demeaning, retorting, placid commentary, alluring and enticing, desolate, desperate, and vulnerable discardables into a preordained failure as they chortle, whilst we suffocate during decades of forceful, brutal extraction and extinction of a percentage of individuals from any given society, whom by an act of parliament, law or legislation are judged as something nowhere near anything which could be considered to possess any so-called human attributes, qualities or traits. I am no longer human, Homo sapien. I have evolved my own personal genetic structure, which was once unique in its essence, has been altered, manipulated permanently against my own free will, without my personal conscious consent, and as such, all I have is words, something that I truly own, mold, shape, and construct without shackles, restraints, objections, opinions, or reprimands, regardless of whom, what, or how anyone or no one may or may not be specifically offended. Finally, I have nothing left to say regarding this issue, and so I just wait for the cold hand of death to beckon me. I am the willing, led by the unknown, doing the impossible for the ungrateful. You sincerely, the lowlife scumbag, Leon.